My twin brother appeared at my door, covered in bruises. His wife's brothers had been beating him for a year. So we switched places, and I made sure they'd never forget it. Nobody rings doorbells at 2:56 a.m. with good news. When I opened the door, my twin brother Maxwell stood there looking like someone had used his face for batting practice. His left eye was swollen shut, purple-black like a rotten plum. His lip was split in two places. Blood had dried in rusty streaks down his chin and neck, staining the collar of his white shirt, the expensive one he wore to client meetings when he was restoring those six-figure pianos for collectors. "Max?" I stepped aside and he stumbled in, moving like every joint hurt. "What the?" "Her brothers," he said, and his voice came out wrong. "Hollow. They won't stop, Merlin. They won't stop." I grabbed him, guided him to my couch. In the harsh LED light of my living room, the damage looked worse. This wasn't just one beating. I could see layers of bruising, yellow-green under the fresh purple, old wounds beneath new ones. We'd been identical once. Same face, same build, same everything until I chose combat and he chose art. I spent my 20s in MMA gyms and UFC qualifying matches before transitioning to digital forensics. Maxwell spent his learning to restore antique pianos, developing hands that could detect a 1/16 of an inch warp in 100-year-old wood. Looking at him now, you'd never know we shared DNA. "How long?" I asked, though the bruise patterns already told me. "A year." He wouldn't meet my eyes. "Maybe longer." "A year." My brother had been getting beaten for a year and never said a word. "Lisa knows?" His wife. The boutique floral designer with the perfect Instagram life and the perfect smile. He laughed, but it was just air and bitterness. "She tells me not to provoke them. Says her brothers are just protective. Says if I was more of a man." He trailed off. "Her brothers." I was already running through what I knew about them. The older one captained commercial fishing vessels, built like a brick wall, always talking about how soft modern men had become. The younger one ran demolition crews, had that particular kind of smart that made him dangerous, cruel with a calculator. Maxwell pulled out his phone, hands shaking as he showed me photos. He'd been documenting everything. Pictures of bruises, screenshots of threats, medical records from urgent care visits he'd hidden from everyone. "They corner me after work," he said. "Sometimes at the restoration shop. Sometimes in parking lots. They know I need my hands for work, so they threaten them. Hold them down on concrete. Say they'll break each finger if I don't. If I don't learn my place." "Your place?" "Beneath them. Beneath her. They say I'm lucky she even looked at me. That a real man would understand the hierarchy." I felt something cold settle into my chest. Not rage. Rage is hot and quick and stupid. This was different. This was clarity. "They did this tonight?" "Family dinner." I disagreed with something the younger one said about some investment scheme. "Just once. Just one opinion. They followed me to my car after." I studied my brother's face. Really studied it. We had the same bone structure, same nose, same jaw when his wasn't swollen to twice its size. With some makeup to match the bruising. "Max," I said slowly. "Go pack a bag." "What?" "Pack a bag. Take only what you absolutely need. No credit cards, nothing traceable." He stared at me, confused. "Merlin, what are you?" "We're switching." The word hung between us. His good eye widened as he processed what I meant. "You can't. I become you. Live your life for a while. You disappear, stay in a motel I'll pay for in cash. We have the same face, Max. Once I add some matching bruises, even Lisa won't know." "What are you going to do?" His voice was barely a whisper. I looked at my brother, gentle Maxwell, who'd never thrown a punch in his life, who created beauty with those careful hands, who apologized when other people bumped into him. "I'm going to become you," I said. "And they're going to wish I hadn't." We worked through the night. Maxwell walked me through everything, his schedule, his clients, which keys stuck on the 1887 Steinway he was restoring. He showed me how he held his tools, the specific way he hunched when examining wood grain. 27 years of identical DNA, and I had to learn how he'd trained himself to become smaller. "You breathe different when they're around," he told me. "Shorter breaths. Like you're trying not to take up air." By 5 a.m., I'd studied enough video on his phone to mimic his gait, that slight favor of his right foot from an old cycling injury. I practiced his nervous laugh, the way he touched his wedding ring when anxious. The hardest part was learning to make myself small. Every instinct from 15 years of combat training screamed against it. I set him up at a motel 40 minutes outside town, paid cash for 2 weeks. Gave him a burner phone with one number, mine. Stay invisible, I said. Order delivery. Don't go out. Watch Netflix. Heal. What about work? My clients? I've got 17 years of working with my hands, just different applications. I can fake it for a few weeks. He gave me his house keys, his car keys, his phone. His whole life in a manila envelope. Lisa gets home from the shop at 6, he said. She likes dinner at 7. Always asks about my day but doesn't listen to the answer. At 8 a.m. sharp, I walked into Maxwell's restoration workshop. The space smelled like lemon oil and old wood. 3 pianos in various states of undress waited for attention. I ran my fingers over the 1887 Steinway, the action needed adjustment, hammers needed voicing. My hands knew violence and code, but they could learn this too. The first client called at 9. Mrs. Mabel, wondering about her Busendorfer Grand. I'd listened to enough recordings of Maxwell to nail his tone, gentle, accommodating, apologetic for delays that weren't his fault. Lisa texted at lunch, don't forget dinner with my family tonight. 7 p.m. Please don't be late. The please was a threat dressed in politeness. I arrived at the house, Maxwell's house, at 5:45. It felt like entering a stage set. Everything too perfect, too arranged. Lisa's floral arrangements on every surface, overwhelming the space with forced beauty. She looked up when I walked in, and for a moment, her eyes narrowed. You're early, she said. Traffic was light. She studied me. I'd applied makeup to match Maxwell's bruising, but something in my posture made her pause. Did you take something? You seem different. Just tired. She moved closer, and I forced myself not to react when she touched the bruise on my jaw. Maxwell would have flinched. My brothers were just trying to help last night, she said. You shouldn't antagonize them. I bit down the response I wanted to give. Instead, I gave her Maxwell's apologetic smile. The family dinner was at her parents' house. White colonial, perfect lawn, the kind of place where violence hid behind good manners. Her brothers were already there. The older one, let's call him Captain, stood 6'3", shoulders that filled doorways. The younger one, Demolition, was smaller but watched everything with calculating eyes. Maxwell, Captain said, crushing my hand in his. Testing. I let him, didn't react to the pressure. Feeling better today? Much, I said, meeting his eyes longer than Maxwell would have. Through dinner, I played the part but pushed boundaries. Sat straighter. Spoke without being asked. Took seconds without permission. Small things that shouldn't matter but clearly did in their twisted hierarchy. Demolition watched me the entire meal. After dessert, he cornered me by my car. His hand pressed against the driver's door, blocking my escape. You seem different, Maxwell, he said, leaning close enough that I could smell the bourbon on his breath. Almost like you're not afraid anymore. I stayed silent, watching him process the change he couldn't quite identify. That confident energy, he continued, his voice dropping. That's going to be a problem. We spent a lot of time teaching you your place. Would hate to start over. Might have to get creative. He patted my cheek, right over the bruise from last night. See you soon, brother. He walked away, and I stood there smiling in the dark. He had no idea how creative I could get. I drove home that night with Demolition's threat echoing in my head. Creative. He wanted to get creative. Perfect. Over the next 3 days, I made small adjustments to Maxwell's routine. Showed up 5 minutes late to Lisa's flower shop when I was supposed to help her load arrangements. Forgot to text her when I'd be home. Ordered a beer at lunch with a client instead of Maxwell's usual green tea. Each tiny rebellion was calculated. I wanted them irritated, not suspicious. Angry people make mistakes. Lisa noticed immediately. What's gotten into you lately? Maybe I'm just tired of apologizing for existing, I said, not looking up from the piano hammer I was reshaping. She called her brothers that night. I know because I'd cloned her phone the second day, child's play for someone in digital forensics. The text thread was illuminating. Lisa, he's acting out. You need to remind him. Captain, this weekend. Demolition, parking garage behind his shop. Saturday. 10 p.m. Saturday came. I spent the afternoon installing micro cameras in my car, another in my jacket button, and a third in the frame of Maxwell's glasses. The audio recorder in my watch was already running 24/7, uploading to a cloud server I'd set up under an anonymous account. At 9:45 p.m., I sat in the parking garage, pretending to organize restoration supplies in my trunk. The space was perfect for them, no external cameras, concrete pillars blocking sightlines, just close enough to the street that screams would be dismissed as city noise. They arrived together in Captain's truck. I heard them before I saw them, boots echoing off concrete. "Working late, Maxwell?" Captain's voice bounced off the walls. I turned slowly, keeping my body language defensive but not cowering. Had to give them what they expected while controlling the encounter. "Just heading home," I said. "No, you're not," Demolition said, moving to flank me. Classic intimidation positioning. "You're going to stay right here and remember some things you seem to have forgotten." Captain grabbed my shoulder, spun me against my car. My instinct was to counter, throw him into the pillar, but I let it happen. Controlled the impact, protected my organs, let my jacket camera get everything. "You embarrassed Lisa this week," he said. "Made her look weak to her friends. That stops now." The first punch came from Demolition, a kidney shot that I shifted just enough to avoid real damage while still taking the hit. I dropped to one knee, gasping. The camera caught it all. "There's the Maxwell we know," Captain laughed, grabbing my collar. "Thought you grew a spine, but you're still the same worthless." His phone buzzed. Then again. And again. "Answer it later," Demolition said, but Captain was already looking at the screen. "It's my wife. Jesus, she's asking about some video online?" They stepped back, both checking their phones. I stayed down, coughing for effect, but I was already running scenarios. I hadn't posted anything yet. "Someone tagged me on Facebook," Demolition muttered. "What the hell?" Turns out, the micro camera I'd planted caught them following me into the garage. My neighbor, a true crime podcast junkie, had noticed them stalking me earlier and started recording. She'd posted it with the caption, "Pretty sure I just witnessed the beginning of an abuse." These guys followed my neighbor into the garage. Small town social media moves fast. Within minutes, their wives were calling, mutual friends were commenting, people were screen recording before it could be deleted. They left without finishing what they'd started, but not before Captain leaned down and hissed, "This isn't over." I waited until their truck disappeared before standing. Everything was recording perfectly, timestamps, GPS data, biometric readings from my watch showing the stress indicators of abuse. Maxwell texted from the motel, "Saw the video. You okay?" "Perfect," I replied. "They're rattled. Sloppy." Sunday dinner at Lisa's parents' was tense. The brothers kept checking their phones, paranoid about more videos surfacing. Captain's wife sat at the opposite end of the table, barely speaking. Demolition's girlfriend hadn't shown up at all. During dessert, Captain left his phone on the counter when he went to the bathroom. Years of digital forensics taught me to work fast. 30 seconds was all I needed to mirror his device. Later that night, I went through the data. Texts, emails, financial records. And there it was, buried in his email drafts, correspondence with his business partner about skimming from the fishing company's contracts. Nearly $200,000 redirected over 2 years. I stared at the evidence on my screen. This changed everything. The embezzlement evidence was a gift I hadn't expected. Captain thought he was smart, keeping everything in email drafts instead of sending them. But drafts still sync to servers, and servers leave trails. I spent Monday creating an anonymous Proton Mail account and crafted the perfect whistleblower email to Captain's business partners. Attached just enough evidence to spark an investigation but not enough to trace back to me. The subject line, "You might want to check your books." Tuesday morning, while I was restringing an 1892 Bluthner Grand, Maxwell texted, "Captain's been at the marina since 5 a.m. Emergency meeting." The dominoes were falling. That afternoon, I made a call to OSHA from a burner phone. Reported unsafe practices at Demolition's work sites. Mentioned specific violations I'd found in his text messages, workers without proper certification handling explosives, ignored safety protocols, a few under-the-table cash jobs that definitely violated regulations. "We take these reports very seriously," the inspector said. "We'll be conducting a site visit within 48 hours. Wednesday, the social media campaign began. I'd been documenting everything, and now it was time to use it. Created a dummy account, posted the parking garage video with others I'd captured. The caption read, "Local business owners abuse brother-in-law repeatedly. How many victims stay silent?" The algorithm loved the engagement. Shares, comments, Local news pages picking it up. Captain's fishing company Facebook page started getting review bombed. Demolition's company website was flooded with questions about their safety record. By Thursday, Captain had lost 2 major contracts. A restaurant chain that bought his fish pulled out, citing concerns about company ethics. Demolition's biggest project, a strip mall demolition, was put on hold pending the OSHA investigation. Lisa came home that night vibrating with rage. "What did you do?" She slammed her purse on the counter. "My brothers' lives are falling apart, and somehow you're connected to this." I looked up from the piano bench where I was testing the action on newly installed hammers. "I've been here working all week. You can check with my clients." "You're not acting like yourself," she said, moving closer. "The way you walk, the way you talk, even the way you're sitting right now. Maxwell doesn't sit with his back straight like that." She was sharper than I'd given her credit for. "Maybe I'm acting like myself for the first time," I said, meeting her eyes. "Maybe getting beaten for a year changed me. Maybe watching you defend them every single time finally woke something up." Her face went pale. "I never. You knew. Every bruise, every threat, every time I came home bleeding. You knew and you chose them. They're my family. I'm supposed to be your family." She stormed out, and I heard her on the phone with her brothers within minutes. Through the clone phone, I watched their group chat explode. "Captain, he did something. I know it. Demolition, no way Maxwell could pull this off. Lisa, something's different about him. Wrong. Captain, this ends Saturday. His workshop. We finish this." Friday afternoon, I got an interesting call at the restoration shop. Local news wanted to do a feature on traditional piano restoration, human interest piece about preserving musical history. Could they come by Saturday morning? "Absolutely," I said. "How about 10 a.m.? I'll have several pieces in various stages you can film." Then I called 3 of Maxwell's best clients, invited them to a special viewing of the completed restorations. Saturday, 10 a.m. Lisa's parents too mentioned their anniversary was coming up, wanted to show them something special for the occasion. By Friday night, I had 12 confirmed guests for Saturday morning. The brothers' text chain showed they planned to arrive at 10 p.m. Friday, tonight. They wanted to catch me alone, after hours. But I had one more call to make. "Hey, it's Maxwell," I said to the local patrol officer who'd responded to a concern I'd filed earlier that week. "Those threats I mentioned? I have reason to believe something might happen tonight at my shop. I'll be working late, alone. Just wanted you to be aware." "We'll have a unit in the area," he assured me. "Call immediately if anything happens." I sat in the workshop as the sun went down, surrounded by beautiful instruments that had survived decades, some over a century. Tomorrow, these brothers would arrive expecting to corner Maxwell in his safe space, break him where he created beauty. They had no idea they'd be performing for an audience. I spent Friday night making final preparations. Every camera angle checked, every microphone tested. The 1887 Steinway, valued at $50,000, positioned perfectly in the center of the workshop where any altercation would inevitably involve it. Then I waited. They never came Friday night. The text chain went silent after 9 p.m. Smart enough to sense something, but not smart enough to stop what was coming. Saturday morning arrived crisp and clear. By 9:30 a.m., my workshop was filling with people. Mrs. Mabel arrived first, eager to see her Busendorfer. Then came the journalist and photographer from the local news, setting up their equipment. 3 more clients trickled in, followed by Lisa's parents. "Maxwell, dear," Lisa's mother said, "this is such a wonderful idea. A showcase of your work." At 9:55 a.m., Lisa arrived. Her face went white when she saw the crowd. "What is this?" she whispered, pulling me aside. "A restoration showcase," I said loudly enough for others to hear. Thought it would be nice to share the craft with people who appreciate it. Her phone buzzed. Her brothers, no doubt, probably parked outside wondering about all the cars. At 10:02 a.m., they walked in. Captain froze in the doorway, taking in the scene. Demolition nearly bumped into him from behind. They looked like wolves who'd stalked into a trap. "Ah, you made it," I called out cheerfully. "Everyone, these are Lisa's brothers. They're thinking about having some restoration work done." The journalist perked up. "Oh, wonderful. Family supporting family business. Can we get a photo?" Captain's jaw clenched. Demolition's hands fisted. They were trapped by social courtesy, surrounded by witnesses. "Actually, Captain said, his voice strained, "We need to talk to Maxwell. Privately. Family matter." "Oh, it can wait," Lisa's father said. Maxwell was just about to demonstrate the hammer replacement process. I moved to the Steinway, explaining the delicate work involved. The brothers stood there, seething. I could feel their rage building, that violence they'd been saving up condensing into something unstable. 20 minutes into my demonstration, Captain snapped. "Enough," he barked, startling everyone. "Maxwell, outside. Now." "Is everything all right?" the journalist asked, camera still rolling. "Family business," Demolition growled, moving toward me. "I should finish the demonstration," I said calmly. "These people came to see." Captain grabbed my shoulder. "Hard. In front of everyone." I said, "Now." Lisa's mother gasped. The client stepped back. The camera kept rolling. "Let go," I said, loud enough for the room to hear. "You're hurting me." "You think you're clever?" Captain hissed, not releasing his grip. "You think you can destroy us?" "I don't know what you're talking about." I kept my voice steady, victim-like. "Please, you're scaring everyone." That's when Demolition lost it. "Stop pretending." He shoved past a client, sending Mrs. Mabel stumbling. "Stop acting like you don't know what you did." "Call the police," I said to the journalist, who was already dialing. Captain spun me around, and that's when Demolition threw the punch. I moved just enough, muscle memory from 1,000 sparring sessions. His fist sailed past my head and connected with the Steinway soundboard. The crack was like a gunshot. $50,000 of restored perfection split down the middle. The strings sang a discordant death note. The room erupted. Lisa's parents shouting, client scrambling back, the journalist's camera catching every second. Captain tried to grab me again, but I stepped back, hands up, non-threatening. "Stop, please. You're destroying everything." The police arrived in 3 minutes. Felt like 3 hours. Captain and Demolition were still raging, had to be physically restrained. The journalist got it all, the threats, the admission about destroying us, the abuse on Mrs. Mabel, the ruined piano. As they were let out in handcuffs, Captain looked back at me. "This isn't over." "Yes," I said quietly, "it is." The arrests made the evening news. Abuse, destruction of property, threatening behavior. Their mugshots went viral locally within hours. Captain's wife filed for separation that night. Demolition's girlfriend changed her relationship status to single. But I wasn't done. That evening, I composed an email from Maxwell's account to Lisa's entire family, including extended relatives. Attached was a compilation of evidence, medical records, threatening texts, documented abuse. The subject line, an invitation to make things right. The message was simple: public apology at Lisa's parents' anniversary party next weekend, or the FBI gets everything about the embezzlement and tax fraud. Maxwell deserved to hear them admit what they'd done. The anniversary party was held at Riverside Gardens, the kind of venue where the town's respectable families celebrated respectable milestones. White tents, string lights, about 100 guests. Lisa's parents' 40th anniversary, 4 decades of marriage being celebrated while their sons' lives imploded. Captain and Demolition had made bail, but their worlds were ash. Captain's fishing company was under federal investigation. 3 more partners had come forward about missing funds. Demolition's company had been shut down after OSHA found 17 major violations. They were hemorrhaging legal fees, their assets frozen. They arrived separately, both in borrowed suits that didn't quite fit. Amazing how fast men shrink when their power evaporates. I watched from my car as guests gathered. Then I texted Maxwell, "It's time." He pulled up 10 minutes later in a rental. The bruises were gone, his face clean for the first time in over a year. He looked younger somehow, or maybe just unburdened. We stood together in the parking lot, identical faces, different stories written in our postures. "You ready?" I asked. "I've been ready since the first time they touched me." We walked in together. The crowd's confusion was immediate, 2 Maxwells, same face, but one carried himself like prey and the other like a predator. Lisa dropped her champagne glass. It shattered on the stone patio. Her brothers saw us and their faces went through a whole symphony of emotions. Confusion, understanding, rage, and then fear as they realized what this meant. "Good evening," I said to the crowd. "I'm Merlin, Maxwell's twin brother. For the past 3 weeks, I've been living his life while he recovered from a year of systematic abuse by these 2 men." The crowd murmured. Phones came out. "Good. Lisa's father stood up. What is the meaning of this? Ask your sons, Maxwell said, his voice stronger than I'd ever heard it. Ask them about the parking garage beatings. The workshop ambushes. The year they spent breaking me because I married their sister. That's enough, Captain started forward, but I stepped between them. No. You're going to do what you came here to do. The apology, or the FBI gets everything tonight. Demolition looked at Captain. Captain looked at their parents. Their mother was crying, their father's face carved from stone. We don't, Demolition started. I held up my phone. One click. Federal investigation, tax evasion, embezzlement. 5 to 10 years minimum. Choose. The party had gone silent. 100 people watching, waiting. Captain went first. He actually got on his knees, right there on the stone patio. The fishing boat captain who'd terrorized my brother, kneeling in his ill-fitting suit. I apologized to Maxwell for what I did. For hurting him. For the abuse. Demolition followed, his voice barely audible. I'm sorry. For all of it. Maxwell stepped forward, took the microphone from the DJ who'd stopped the music to watch this unfold. You broke me for a year, he said, his voice carrying across the silent garden. My brother fixed you in a week. The silence that followed was absolute. Then someone started clapping. Then another. By the time Maxwell handed back the microphone, most of the crowd was applauding. Not for the brothers on their knees, but for Maxwell standing tall. Lisa ran. Just turned and ran to the parking lot. Her marriage was over, she knew it, I knew it, everyone knew it. Captain and Demolition left shortly after, their parents refusing to look at them. Within a month, Captain would be indicted on federal charges. Demolition would declare bankruptcy. Both would take plea deals that included jail time. That night, Maxwell and I sat in my apartment one last time. I leave tomorrow, he said. Apprenticeship in Vienna with a master restorer. New name, new life. You'll be great. He looked at me, really looked at me. I don't want the old me back, Merlin. That person was too gentle for this world. Too willing to be broken. Good. That person didn't deserve what happened to him. We didn't hug. We didn't need to. Some things between brothers don't need words or gestures. 6 months later, I got a postcard from Austria. No words, just a photo of a perfectly restored 1794 piano. The brothers are working minimum wage now. Captain stocks shelves at a hardware store. Demolition works at a car wash. Lisa moved back with her parents, runs a smaller flower shop, tells people her husband died. I kept one recording. The one where they admitted everything, crying and begging. Just in case anyone else needs reminding that Maxwell isn't the gentle one. I'm the gentle one. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great